Good morning. I knocked over my camera right before I started, but here we go. Welcome to the Daily Nudge. I'm Dan Barnes. Certainly appreciate you tuning in this morning. Today, I want to talk to you about how many? God tells us this. He says, teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. I want to talk to you about the brevity of life, not to scare you, but to kind of motivate you and help you understand, man, we got to get going. We got to live our lives. We got to do something with our lives, not just run down a river on an inner tube and hopefully something good will happen to us. We've got to live our lives with gusto, with excitement, with energy, with purpose. And today I want to talk to you about teaching us to number our days. Brief daily nudge, but hopefully it'll help you. Listen to this. The Bible tells us that our life, a good life, is 70 years. 70. That's a good year. How many years? That's 70 years. The Bible tells us that in that time, you can have a good life. But listen to this. 70 years is only 25,566 days. So you have, in your lifetime, if you live to 70 years old, which that's a good life, 70 years. If you live to 80, that's awesome, but more, that's great if you got good health and you're able to keep going. But 70 years is just 25,566 days. So let's say you're 20 years old. Right now, you're 20 years old. Out of that 25,000, you've only got 18,262 days to go. If you're 20 years old, you still got 18,000 days to go. Well, let's say you're 30 years old, okay? You've already lived 30 years. Out of that 70 years, you've lived 30 years. That means you have just about 14,000 days left. 14,000. Wow, okay. Let's say you're 40. Listen to this. If you're 40 years old and you live to 70, you've only got 10,957 days left. Think about that. Time is not as long as we think it is. If you're 40 years old, you've only got 10,957 days until you're 70 years old. Listen to this. If you're 50, you have 7,304 days until you turn 70. Give or take with a leap year. I understand that. This is approximate numbers. But if you're 50, you've got 7,304 days. Well, that's 7,000 days. Boy, that's not as much as you think it is. Let's say you're 60 years old. Listen to this number. If you're 60 years old and you've got a lifespan of 70 years, if you're 60, that means right now you have 3,652 days to go till you're 70 years old. It's not as many days as you'd think. 10 years, that's a long time. Not really. It's 3,652 days, and that goes by really, really fast. In every day that you sit down and you just go through life, you're riding on your inner tube down life's river and you're just looking at the trees and you're playing your video games, you're scrolling through your phone or whatever it is you're doing, and you're just not really paying attention. Your life is going to go by so fast. This verse where it says, teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts to wisdom was given by Moses. It wasn't penned by Moses, but it was Moses talking to the people. Naturally, we don't have eternity in mind, but Moses wanted us to have some wisdom. So he asked God for us to train our hearts to number our days. We need to train our hearts to number our days. How do we number our days? So that, well, let me re-say that. Moses asked God to train our hearts to think wisely about the time. That's basically the breakdown of the verse. To number our days. This means to recognize that our time on earth is limited. Every day is a gift. We're to count each day as a valuable and purposeful time. We can't just throw it away. We can't just waste our time. Think about it. Your whole lifespan, if you live to 70 years, is only 25,566 days. If you live to 70, if you're 60 right now, that means you got 3,600 days left. That's not a lot. It's not a lot. So teach us, God, teach us to number our days so that we can grow in wisdom, that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. The goal here isn't fear of death. Let's not fear death. That's not our goal. Because those that know Jesus Christ as their personal Savior, you're going to live for eternity, but you only have a certain amount of time here to do something for good and for God. So that we may apply our hearts to wisdom so that our life is of profit. So the goal here isn't the fear of death. When we understand the shortness of time, hopefully that will motivate us to live a life of purpose. Just think about it. Just a thought. Hey, number your days. How many days do you think you got left? Well, each 10 years is 3,652. That's how many days you have every 10 years. So if it goes by quick, man, it went by fast in my life. I don't know about you, but think about it. Number your days. Learn wisdom and apply your heart to wisdom. Make your life the most purposeful life you can today. Thanks for joining me here on the Daily Nudge. Hope and pray you have the best day ever. Take care.